And at this point, you got to start thinking about, your resume. Daniel Bryan, Sting,
Yeah.
Kurt Angle. I mean, these are pinch me matches.
They really are. Like when I talk about that lockup, this is an under the radar thing, but like Daniel, Kurt, like a Cesaro, you lock me like, holy shit, these guys are good. One name on that list that needs credit that probably never gets it is Eric Young.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, whoa.
Most underrated wrestler ever, really.
Yeah. Truly.
So I wanted to talk about this a little bit. You have referenced it a little bit already here earlier on the show, but you were telling me offline about a book / online course, I guess you'll call it, that you're putting together. It's a project for aspiring professional wrestlers. There's a section that you talk about how self-actualization and professional wrestling have a lot of parallels. Right. And through your writing, you share what you call moments of perfection, EC3. And the example that I read about was that experience of you wrestling Kurt. So can you share a little bit about that project and that experience for you with Kurt?
Yeah, the project, I think you had Vinny Pacifico on here and he kind of talked about how I helped him out. And there's, a handful of like guys that I don't want to say taken under my wing, but provide the guidance I can. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I think and I'm telling you what I know. And then I want you to figure it out and do you in the best way possible. So I realize I kind of have the ability. I'm still at the top of my game. I'm at a high level. I'm a world champion. And I think communication between generations is kind of lost, where if I'm learning from Dr. Tom and, Dusty Rhodes, Rip Rogers, Terry Taylor's, who's teaching the next generation? And I'm not nearly as good as a coach as those guys, but some of the things they say, how can they be given and transcribed to the next generation? Because everything they talk about works. Everything they talk about is true to the game. And everything they talk about is not the way it has to be. It's how you can evolve it going forward. So I pandemic, especially Control Your Narrative, I started writing a lot where I wrote out first thing was 10 tenets of wrestling I have. And, then it came about, well, I'm jacked as hell and I'm super in shape and I look fantastic. Here are 6 different ways I've dieted for certain events and how I reset my metabolism. So it's all these diet plans. And then it became personal stories and how to control things like yourself and how to control your life, how to control your relationships on the road, which I don't have a wife. So obviously I'm doing great, but all these insights I would have from kind of a deeper perspective. But one was self-actualization and how it translates to wrestling. Because I think what's lost is people want to play characters and they don't want to become the best version of themselves or themselves turned up. As Kurt would tell you, as anybody who's ever been on the top, the best characters are not characters. They are the extensions of the person's personality, because you are the only you who has ever existed, right? So be the best you possible. I can't tell you how to be you. I can hopefully inspire you to find out who you are, though. So within that, I wrote about the self-actualization, and it was a moment of perfection, I like to call it, where I had the match with Kurt. And first off, I call it the night of 1,000 German suplexes. Because I believe it was 17. And so that makes me
a little higher.
Yeah, I'm super tough. Ankle lock with the leg lock. But in that moment, something happened going to the ring where I was, everything you think about in life, you're thinking about the past or the present or what's next or what have I done? And rarely can we be present in the moment. And I was present in that moment for 20 plus minutes of physicality and storytelling and emotion that this is the thing you need to achieve to have great moments or something that you'll never forget. So that was kind of the basis of it. It still sounds like a lot of mumble jumble, but I'm weird.
Yes,
but we wanted to bring that out on the podcast. This is your opportunity to do that. So thank you for sharing.
No, it's definitely cool. And what I'll do with it is kind of make it either an online course or a book or both. And, it's a very target demographic and it's a very niche thing. So, but through that course, I think there's a great idea to network aspiring professional wrestlers with people that are like-minded. Or how do people get booked nowadays? I don't know. How do you have connections? Well, if you're all in this kind of network, you're critiquing each other's work, you're giving each other advice, this is a great person that can make me custom music, this is a great gear person, this breaking down a classic match. I think there's like a big conversation that a whole group can have and make themselves better wrestlers, maybe better people.